This video is part of a series teaching you how to play with modes. And to go with this series, I prepared for you a free downloadable pack with 35 backing tracks, full charts, videos, tabs. It's completely free. Check the link below, grab your pack, and let's get into this lesson. Welcome! We are starting a series of videos on playing modal. We're going to explore the different modes extracted from the major scale, and this series is aimed to helping you not see these modes as just extracted from the major scale, but really seeing them as unique and individual flavors. So the backing track I was just playing over uses the concept that I previously explained how to build modal backing tracks. We're starting with Mixolydian mode. There's a good reason for that. I'll meet you after this and we'll get started. Hi, welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players like all of us find our unique voice on the instrument, develop that voice to tell our own musical story in different settings. Today is the Mixolydian setting, the Mixolydian mode, the Mixolydian landscape, which you heard in this backing track, which really screams Mixolydian. There's nothing else you can play on that. We're in G Mixolydian here. You kind of hear that flavor. So, why did I choose the Mixolydian mode and not the Ionian, like a lot of players would start with, the major scale? That's because we are seeing these modes as unique and individual scales, and we're going to start with the most popular ones, in my opinion, as far as modern music goes. Mixolydian mode is in the major box. I like to see modes and scales and chords to be placed in different boxes. There's the major box. In that box fits all the different musical elements that have a major third. That's the Mixolydian. And the other box, the minor box, which has all the minor stuff with the minor third. So Mixolydian fits that, and it's going to be a canvas that we're going to use in blues, rock, funk, all that modern kind of thing. So if you had to pick a major type of scale, it would be Mixolydian, I think, if you're a blues player. So that's what we're going to start with today. I should mention that this series of lessons, there's going to be 7 of them for the 7 different modes, are going to be strategies for you to start developing ideas that really fit that mode. And this is actually going with a lesson pack available on my website, which is free for you because you're watching this video. This is a pack that I usually sell, but I'm giving it for free, where you have tons of backing tracks representing these different modes, some tabbed solos and charts, and you can get all that for free, the full pack. This is the full thing. So that's my gift for you. You can get it with the link below. Just visit it, enter your best email address, and I'll be sending you that pack right away. No strings attached. And let's get started with the Mixolydian mode. Before anything, we need to take a look at the formula of that Mixolydian mode. That's going to give us the blueprint of that scale, that mode, that canvas. We're going to work in the key of G, so we're in G Mixolydian. The blueprint is a series of notes, intervals, made of a root. That's the one, that's what the bass is playing here. Right? The bass is riffing on that G. You hear bob, 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 that G all the time, right? Then we have a major second, a major third, a perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, minor seventh. The 7 notes make the Mixolydian mode, and we can play any of these 7 notes over this backing track. It's going to fit. If we were to play another interval in there, it wouldn't fit this. If I played a major 7th instead of minor 7th, it clashes. Okay, so that's important, and we're going to take a look at different things that you might think of when you are playing with that Mixolydian mode. So if you're completely new to playing Mixolydian, the first thing is to get comfortable with the sound of it. So your improvisation might be very scolar, but we're going to play that mode over the backing track to see how all the notes resonate with what is going on in the background. Multiple positions really don't matter that much, but we're going to use one of them, whether you're a 3-note per string player or a caged system player or a hybrid type of player. In the end, it doesn't really matter because the notes are going to be the same notes. It's just a way to organize your thoughts on the fretboard. So I'm gonna choose here the caged system. Why not? You can play anything else you want. It doesn't matter, but we're going to be in that zone of the fretboard right here. Here it is really quick. On the 6th string, we have frets 3, 5. On the next string, we have frets 2, 3, 5. 4th string, same thing, 2, 3, 5. Next one, we have 2, 4, 5. Then we're going to use the same shape that we did there, index, ring, pinky, but 1 fret higher on the 2nd string, so that'll be frets 3, 5, 6. And we're going to end with 3, 5, just like what we started with. 2 octaves higher. We're just going to play that mode over the backing track to get used to the color of that. We're going to descend that. Now, as you're doing this, it's important to mentally anticipate the sound of each note you're about to play. So if you're playing this, it's a mental exercise. If you were to sing, fix it. Your voice needs to match what you are playing here. That's really important to internalize the sound of the scale. That's the first step. Just get comfortable with that. Maybe explore other positions. No note should come as a surprise. Then we're going to start developing ideas using that mode over this vamp, this backing track, which again is available for you in the full pack below for free. The very first thing we're going to do as we're playing is to target one of the notes of that blueprint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as you're doing this, it's important to pay attention to what that interval, that landing note, makes you feel like. What does it make you feel like? And there's no rule here. I don't want to say target the major third to sound happy. No, that's something unique and personal. You really need to do the work. It's really going to help you later on when you're targeting specific notes. This is a personal thing. For this, we'll target the 7, for example. So if we're working this area of the fretboard, pay attention to where the 7s are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a minor 7 right here on the 4th string, 3rd fret. And there's another one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, an octave higher. Same function here, it's just played a little higher on the register, and that's on the 2nd string, 6th fret if you're using that position. So we're just going to build some very short melodic ideas, simple melodic ideas that land on that 7, and that stay on that 7 enough for you to notice what kind of feeling it gives you. Let's try that. Very simple. Same kind of feeling. Now, if all your ideas land on the 7, it's going to be very scolar. It's not going to be very expressive, but at least you have a feel for that 7. And then you try another note. Any of these notes is okay. You need to be comfortable with all of them and know what they make you feel. How about the 6th, for example? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those 2 notes do the same kind of work. Different feeling, right? It's got a different feeling than the 7th, for example. Right? So you need to be comfortable with all of them so that you can target whatever you want when you want. That's the first thing when you're approaching a new canvas, getting comfortable with all those landing notes. Once you're comfortable with that, your fingers are kind of going to take over it's almost as if your fingers have a mind of their own, and they're going to kind of target whatever is in your mind automatically. There's that strong connection that happens when you do that work between what your fingers, your muscles are doing and what you are hearing in your head. And that's something that kind of naturally happens as you're anticipating the sound of each note. Once you're comfortable with that, once you reach that step, once you know that, all right, I'm playing a little bit here. That's what I want. Once you get there, you start exploring other areas of the fretboard. And that's where I don't want you to be locked into a particular system all the time. Learning the systems is good, like the cage system, the 3-note per string, but eventually you need to kind of forget it. You need to forget these systems that help you memorize the scales so that your fingers can aim for whatever and transition from one to the other. So maybe we can take the 3-note per string system here for the Mixolydian. And if you're not comfortable with that position, if you don't know it, that's where it's okay. Slow things down and use your ears. 3 notes per string. There are 3 notes, so. Ba, 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 ba. You might fish around a little bit, but create that scale without having to necessarily learn it on paper. And then mix and match. So maybe we're going to ascend that 3 note per string. We're in that zone of the fretboard, and you descend a narrower zone of the fretboard. So instead of thinking caged, narrow, 3 note per string, wide, just visually make your own position. You might come up with something a little different, that's on paper, but as long as your ear is involved, you're going to be okay. The notes that you are targeting are coming from inside. That work is really essential. You can't skip it. If you're only doing it by paper, memorizing these scales, which I see a lot of students do, it's okay, but if your ear is not involved, you're always going to be stuck and limited to that. Okay? So maybe it'll be something like this. You're thinking wide, 3 note per string, and then narrow. Okay, so that's the exploration part. Once you're comfortable with that, once your finger take over, here are a few extra tips to sound more musical. The first tip, and that's the only tip that I usually give when people tell me they're stuck, is this. And I've done this, I don't know how many times on the channel, but people tend to just look at me do it and never actually do it. Put this down. Down. No more, because when you have the guitar in your hand, you tend to think like a guitar player, and your fingers kind of like engage their thought process, like they have little brains, and they start to influence what's coming out. I don't want that. I just want this to be the motherboard that controls anything else. So you just listen to the track. And you start singing because you're used to the flavor of the scale. And you just start singing ideas like a singer would. Ba-da-ba-da, da-da-ba-da, da-da-da-da-ba-ba. I kind of like that. I'll sing that several times. Da-da-da-da, da-da-ba-da, da-da-da-da-ba-ba. Okay, now this is the process that I call uncheesify things. What I was saying was pretty cheesy, but if you add a cool sound instead of your voice, unless you're Chris Felipe, who has an awesome voice, or anyone else who has a good voice, you translate that with a better sound. Da-da-ba-da. Okay? Ba. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Sounds much better already, right? Let's play that over the track. So get into the groove because it's a rhythm type of idea. Okay, once you have that, you play the idea. 2, 3, 4. That process is really essential. If you don't do that, if you don't physically put the guitar down, start singing, all your ideas are going to be heavily influenced by those finger brains that take over. You don't want that. You want to do the process. Eventually, when you're playing with a band or recording a solo or whatever, you're not going to physically put the guitar down, because that process, you will learn how to engage your mind and send the information to all the muscles, the tendons to do the work. But really, please do it. It really is going to help. Then another thing you can do to kind of emphasize that is think in terms of the actual story, adding rhythm to that. When you're speaking, there's always rhythm. If I replace my pitch intonation with just rhythm, it's not going to sound like taka 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 ta. It's going to sound maybe like taka 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 ta. If I take a sentence like, let's learn the Mixolydian mode. Rhythmically, it'll be ta ta taka taka taka. Let's learn the Mixolydian mode, right? It's not let's learn the Mixolydian mode. Taka 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 taka. Okay. Maybe you think in terms of that now. For example, right? So let's try that on the backing track, and I'll think rhythmically this time. So if you need to, you know what to do. Put that down. I'm just going to pretend it's not there. And just rap over it. Taka 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 taka. Creating music with rhythm. Because you already have the notes, because you did the work. Taka ta, taka ta, 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 taka, taka 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 ta. For example, you just start playing that. Right? Already it started to sound a little more masterful, like you know what you're doing. And finally, the other zone of our mental improvisation that we're going to target is the knowledge. So not really the felt thing, the communication thing, but taking theory and applying it in a musical way. So here's where your knowledge of theory can be helpful. We are in Mixolydian, which is, I don't like to say mode or scale because that tends to confuse people. I'm going to say we've got this canvas, this setting, which is Mixolydian. That Mixolydian setting, a long time ago, was born from something. It was born from the major scale. It's extracted, linked to that major scale. But I don't want you to see it like that necessarily. I want you to see this as something unique and very different from anything else. But it exists a long time ago. It was extracted from the major scale. It's the 5th degree. That means that if you know the order of these modes, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, and so forth, and if you have watched the previous video that was released a few days ago, you will know that these modes follow each other. And we can associate to each of these 7 degrees chords arpeggios. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, half diminished. We can use that. Mixolydian is 5. We're in G Mixolydian, 5 is major. So I can play my major triad here. If I want a G major triad, it would work. I played this position here, which is probably the first sweepable position that you learn. Right, that kind of thing. Well, that shape is also found in other areas of the fretboard. Mixolydian is 5, just before 5 is 4, 2 frets below. That's also the same shape. So you could use this, start improvising with, play the same thing 2 frets below. Those 2 shapes, the 5th degree shape and the 4th degree shape, are part of the same world. So if I play these 2 shapes, kind of improvise using those shapes, canvases, it's going to work over this backing track. Let's give that a try. I'll give it a little context. I'll play a little bit, in that area of the fretboard, just transition to this one, the triad, and then I'll show you. Here I am. It works, right? Right? It's pretty cool. One last tip. The Mixolydian mode, just like any other mode, you can kind of find within or create within these canvases. Again, I don't like to say mode. You can find some hidden pentatonic scales, and a lot of us are pentatonic players. That's where you're really stuck and you want your fingers to take over. Well, you can either, with the Mixolydian mode is kind of unique. You can either associate, replace that 7-note scale. Oops, sorry. That's 7th is minor. You can either replace that with the major pentatonic scale, because Mixolydian is one of those major box items. So that position, or if you like this one, G major pentatonic, right? You could play that, so you can always go back to that pentatonic scale. A lot of players probably do, but you can also see this as 5th degree, 4th degree, 2 frets below, and use that triad trick with the major pentatonic. So you can start your major pentatonic lick in G and end it 2 frets below in F. Right? Pretty cool. And I said that the Mixolydian mode is a little different. There's this weird thing with the Mixolydian mode that happens because of cultural, historical reasons, where you can actually do something that is forbidden in classical world. You can replace that major pentatonic scale from the Mixolydian mode with a minor pentatonic scale. That means that all your blues, minor blues licks in G are going to work on this too. And if you blend the minor pentatonic with the major pentatonic, it's going to sound even awesomer. There it is. All right, that's what I had for you. Again, you can download this free pack, the full pack that I usually sell, completely free. Below is the link. Enter a valid email address. I don't know how long that's going to last. I might remove the link. If you click that link and it doesn't work, well, I decided to stop and going back to selling this pack. Limited time. Check it out below. Click the link, enter your best email address. I'll be sending you that. Be on the lookout for 6 more videos similar to this one. In the next one, we'll explore the Dorian mode, which kind of goes with the Mixolydian. Mixolydian, major box. Dorian, minor box. These two are kind of close to each other. Why? Several reasons. One of them you'll discover in the next video, but they're kind of operating in the same style. Modern music, blues, rock, funk. That's a minor mode. So I'll meet you in the next video. Thanks for watching this. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video in the series. And 3 videos coming each week. Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday. Thank you so much for watching this. Download your free pack below. I will see you next time. Practice well.